Happening, everyone? How's everybody doing? Good to see y'all. Welcome to our Monday huddle call. We do this huddle call every week, every Monday. If you haven't seen our calendar recently, it is Monday and Wednesdays. We have our morning kind of just huddle ups to talk about current events, community-wide things that we're doing, things that are working, action that's being had, and we do a little bit of training at the same time. So thank you, Christina, for getting us kicked off and starting. It must be raining where you're at, I'm guessing. No? We've been getting a lot of rain here in Minnesota, which is good because we didn't have any for like the entire month of June. So today's subject of our huddle call is really going to the people to share ketones. And I want you to think about that. Taking ketones to the people instead of waiting for people to come to you. And one of the things that if you've been in this business for more than maybe a month or two, I feel like we get this like waiting game. Well, I'm waiting. No one's talked to me about ketones yet. I'm waiting. Who's going to comment on my post? I'm waiting. I've only had 3 people this week actually comment and reach out to me because they want ketones. And then instead of taking control or taking action of our future in this business, we're just kind of passive about it. So we have a choice. We can either go after it. We can be aggressive, if you want to use that word. We can be proactive, or we can just go like this and wait. Right. And you might have somebody randomly come through your post. You might have people that comment because you're putting out great content, and that's awesome. But at the same time, we have the ability to go to people and to actually share ketones with them. And what do I mean by that? It might sound a little bit vague. Well, we did on Wednesday, Maddie and Brendan talked about keto drive-bys. They talked about, how many of you were on that huddle call? If you were on it, drop a 1 in the chat. I see some hands. That's awesome. It was a great huddle. There is a replay of it. We have recordings of all of these that you can go and access on the YouTube page. But they just talked about reaching out to people and driving ketones to where people are, right? I really want us to, if we get into that mode in summertime, we're going to be able to really move forward one step at a time rather than being in this summer suck, right? Summer can actually be the best time of the year to share this because people are actually looking. Blake on I think it was a champ call last week, was saying, the second best time in the world to talk about transformation is in the summer. Best time is usually in January. People are ready for a transformation. They're ready to make New Year's resolutions. But come summer, people are looking to get fit. People are looking to go to the beach, get in their bathing suits, and they're ready for transformation. So with that, we have the ability to take it to people. So what we're going to talk about today isn't just keto drive-bys. It's more like setting yourself up in a public place to share ketones. And whether that is a tasting that you're doing at a local gym, whether it's a table that you're paying to have at a farmer's market, or a full-blown health and wellness event, it is a great opportunity to get yourself in front of people. So I have a handful of people today that are just going to share some different environments that they've put themselves in. And also, I'm just going to ask them some questions, but invite them to share kind of their biggest tips or tricks and just how it's gone. So first, who you just heard from, Christina Martinez-Williams. I saw her send a picture to me this weekend of being at a farmer's market. So Christina, tell me real quick about your experience, what exactly you did, how you got into it, and how it's been going for you.
Sure. So this particular farmer's market, I learned that it was going on and asked to be a part of it and found out information and then applied. In the past, I've found farmers markets by just searching farmers markets and then can look up the information, go to their website, and then find out how to become a vendor. And then how did I prepare for it?
Yeah. Like what did you do? So you searched it out. You said, I want to do this. So you were looking for an opportunity, and you Googled farmers markets. Then you messaged whoever was running it. And what did you say?
Said, can I be a vendor? How do I become a vendor at your farmer's market?
Okay.
I do.
A lot of us overcomplicate the simple. And it's not really complicated to do that, but that's all you have to do. Hey, I'd like to be a vendor, or I'd like to come sample ketones at your market. Now, what did you get set up prior to doing it?
You mean like what products did I put out?
I don't know. What did you do to prepare for the farmer's market?
Okay, I put together my trial packs and I got together my like some extra boxes, empty boxes of ketones and of the products, and then the ketogenic Bible and a picture of me in my before and better picture, and some 2 simple signs that say what ketones do, like a sign that's like an 8.5 by 11 sign, and then what do they and it asked me about ketosis and about our summer slim down challenge, and a bed sheet, and took that with a table.
Oh, awesome. Does everybody in here have a bed sheet? If y'all have a bed sheet, give me a nod. Okay. So what the reason that I laugh at that is because a lot of times we're like, well, I can't do that. I don't have all the fancy things that you need. I don't have this. I don't have that. You need shaker bottles, water bottles. You need ketones. The boxes actually make great displays. Just bring some empty boxes and stack them up. You need a bucket of ice. You could get an ice bucket from the dollar store, right? It's not complicated. So at your table, what did you do? How did you interact with people? What was your process?
I choose to stand on the side or in front of my table so that I can, instead of sitting down, I stand so that I can say hi, and I just greet people as they come by. Hey, how are you doing? Are you drinking ketones yet? The same thing that I would say in a chat, the same thing that I would say, I just greet someone and then I ask them if they're drinking ketones, or I say, hey, would you like to learn some more about ketones? My particular farmer's market, I cannot do tasting. I don't have the permit for it. So I just call them over. But when I do have that ability, then I say, have you tried ketones yet? And then ask them if they would like to try them.
Do you just sit behind your table or do you stand in front of it?
No, so I stand in front and or to the side, and I get myself forward. Like most people, I notice most vendors and farmers markets are sitting down and are sitting behind their table, and their energy is not telling me that they want to talk to me. They're waiting for me to come over. If I'm walking around, they're waiting for me to come over and talk to them and to look at what they have. I'm not waiting. I'm standing there and talking to every single person that walks by, whether they choose to come over or not.
Awesome. How about as far as collecting information, having people that, like, how do you get people's information? How do you make sure that you have something to follow up on?
Sure. So I have simple info sheets that get their basic phone number, email, and what benefits they're looking for, have a box to check off if they are interested in the business opportunity. If it's a busy farmer's market, then I'll put those out so that if someone's waiting while I'm talking to someone else, then they can be filling that information out. I can direct them to that. They can fill that out. And so I can talk to them as soon as they're done. I'm talking with the other person. But this farmer's market had slow foot traffic. So I put that away and I have my phone in my hand and I automatically get their phone number and say, hey, I'm going to send you a text that has a short video that explains this. When they ask if I have a card, I say, I have a short video that I can send you that explains this, because my card might get to them and then I have nothing of their information. And it's much more personal for me to connect. And then I have on a Google Keep, which is just like a note keeping app. I have a list of, I just put farmer's market and the date and where I'm at. And then I put number 1 and I put their name after I've talked to them. Right after I put their name, and then I put a little note about maybe what benefits they were looking for and maybe something to trigger my memory of what they looked like so that I can remember them. And I've saved their name in my phone with an X, like Nick has talked about before, their name. And then I put in my text replacement farmers market for Washington farmers market so that it automatically puts it in my contacts so I know where I met them. And then I also have a message that I've saved that is the same thing that I send to everyone. So as soon as they walk away from my table, they're getting a message from me, as long as I don't have someone coming right away. Then they're getting message me. As soon as there's a lull in foot traffic, I'm sending the same message to everyone with the learn video, the /learn, shopketo.com/learn video. And then that way they're getting that, and they might be able to watch that even before they leave the farmer's market and may come back and get a trial pack, or they just know that I'm already in communication with them and that I've remembered And then I also saves me time later. I'm not going back home and sending out messages later until the next day, because I get to do it right there. It allows me to use that time to connect.
That's super smart. Love it. Because there is downtime when you're at events, and you might as well use it for effective follow-up, so you don't have to worry about it later.
Also, another downtime use of downtime. And I noticed this. So this Saturday, we had a lot of rain in the forecast. And so it was really slow in the beginning. And I talked to a few people, and I was expecting slow to mean less people to talk to. But then as soon as I realized, okay, there's not that many people, this is my opportunity to go talk to all the vendors. So I got a couple of packs out and was ready to go talk to other vendors and utilize that time to see everyone else. Because when I'm talking to people who are there, I'm talking to people all the way until everyone else is gone and packed up. I'm still talking to people, and that's when the other vendors come around sometimes too, and everyone else is packing up. But if there's any downtime, then I'm talking to my neighbors, or I'm actually walking around and talking to people and getting as many new conversations as possible. So for me, success isn't necessarily if I sell tons of trial packs. I didn't yesterday. I didn't sell a ton of trial packs, but I had more names yesterday than 2 weeks ago when the weather was nicer. And that was what it was about. It's creating that new set of people that I get to talk to, reach out to, connect, regularly follow up with, and invite to calls. And now I have a whole new people. So I'm not feeling so tied to the outcome, because I'm only talking to the people from the last time. Now I'm talking to another huge set of people in that time frame.
It's awesome.
And so also it gives you an opportunity, like when you keep doing, if our farmers market here is twice a month. So this is the second one that we've done this season. And what I found, and what I've experienced before when I've done tastings at gyms, when I've done barbershop, whatever in-person table type tastings, is that the more that I can reconnect with people, the more that I move them from that cold market to a warm market. So just like we do with Facebook, which like we do anywhere else, if they start out where they've never seen me before, they don't know me from anything, my regular communication, my regular follow-up helps move them to that place where they like, know, and trust me. But then also, as I continue to show up and be there at the next place that they're going to see me, because people come to farmers markets regularly, then they're like, oh, I talked to you last week, or hey, I just had 2 keto ups from you last 2 weeks. I want to get 2 more, or hey, I had this question, or hey, whatever. They just start to see you. And if you're the same smiley, energetic, friendly person that you were the 2 weeks before, they start to recognize that, oh, maybe there is something to that. Everyone else is really hot and tired out here, but she's been standing the whole 5 hours and greeting people and has this positive engagement.
Awesome. You said keto ups. Are you selling keto ups at your booth?
I am, yeah.
How does that work?
Usually it helps to create conversation around the different, like liquid versus powder, and another opportunity for people to try something right there in the moment, and to take something that's cold and to show them something that looks like a Red Bull, looks like a Monster, that looks like a Celsius, looks like whatever it is. And it's something too that I think is really, I didn't get to do this on this Saturday because of foot traffic, but I think it's a really great thing to take around to other vendors and offer, if you're willing to invest in that way. If it's someone that you're willing to invest in and you see that they might be a connector or entrepreneurial, because they can drink it right then and experience in the moment. So there was one man that is, he was the volunteer of the organization that was putting on the farmers market. And he came over and said, all he said was, I'm really like antsy. I'm not sure about this. I'm stressed out because I'm not sure if the rain is going to not bring people by. And he wasn't a vendor. He was just a volunteer, but he was feeling stressed. So I was like, you want to try one of these? And gave him a keto up. He walked around, told him how to drink it slow, walked around, and he came back and he was like, he was all fired up, and his energy had shifted from the sun coming out, but he also was feeling the effects of keto up. And because it's an immediate experience of ketosis, if someone experiences it like that, well, everyone's in ketosis, but if they're experiencing it, then they get to experience that in the moment. And so he was ready to buy some more. He was ready to get
Awesome.
started.
How much do you sell your keto ups for?
2 for $15. I make it easy. So even I don't, so like my packs or my ampules are 3 for $20, because I don't want someone to say, I don't have the change, or I don't have the, but they probably have a $20 bill versus like a $35 or $40. So I just make it easier. And then I have all the options available to take payment, all of them, because I don't want anyone to be like, well, I don't have Cash App, or I don't have this, or I don't have cash, or I don't have that. Well, great. I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this. And that makes it complicated maybe in terms of like tracking it, but it gets more people to not have an excuse for why they can't pay for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Christina. Such great information. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Give her some love in the chat. The next person that we have who's been using booths and tables to grow their business is Erica Busby. I think I'm saying your last name right. Erica, if you want to come off mute real quick, say hey. I can see your face. Where are you at? Oh, there you are. Oh, can you come off mute? Oh, I have to ask you.
No, we got to make it. Yeah. Make her.
There you go. How's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, perfect. Well, maybe tell us a little bit about what you've been doing. And then if you have maybe a handful of tips that you want to share of how to maximize tables, I'd love to hear them.
Yeah,
and introduce yourself, because a lot of people maybe haven't heard your voice before.
Hey, you got my name super close. It's Erica Busby, and I am in the upstate of South Carolina. I've been drinking and sharing ketones since August of 2020, so almost 3 years. So we have a growing South Carolina team, and we do a lot of in-person events, booths, and vendor events. We do keto life parties and mixers. We like to do them at coffee shops, people's houses. Breweries are a great place to get people to come. They can bring their families. They can, grab a beer, come drink some ketones. So that's something that's gone really well for us. We've done larger events where we've had everybody invite, and then Kate Higdon and her husband Jason have come down a couple of times and done a large event for us. Those are super awesome. And then lots of vendor events. So two of my teammates, Patty Jordan and Crystal Crompton, just did a Jeep Fest over the weekend, and that went really well. Car shows, anything to do with like cars, people like those are just great. So highly recommend those. I like to do a lot of the holiday events and festivals. And then, like Christina mentioned, you just search for them. So I use Facebook a lot and do the Facebook events. You can join groups that have like your area. People will post vendor events in there. And so Facebook is a really great place to find those events. And then any pop-up markets that pop up, like just keep your eyes open. There's so many opportunities to set up events.
It's awesome. So when you do the event, like what's a couple tips? So you heard what Christina shared, but what are some things that you do specifically to make your table a success?
So the biggest thing is don't overcomplicate it. You don't need a complicated setup. Just start simple. You're going to learn what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what your necessities are, and you're going to grow every single time. So don't feel like you have to make it perfect the first time. Just do it. The action is what's important. So that's my biggest tip, is don't overcomplicate it. Just pick a date and schedule it. And then reach out to whoever you're working with and ask for tips or help if you're not sure on what to do. One thing I like to do is I like to ask one of my newest customers or one of my newest promoters or one of my best customers to come do it with me. And anybody who orders from the link, I put under them, because I'm going to get the same, if it's a customer, it's going to be new volume for me. And then they might turn into a promoter because they're going to see how fun it is and how simple it is. So definitely get your people involved in your events. I also do the 3 samples, the 3 serving sample packs for $20. And then I have bigger ones available as well, because some people just want a 10-day. Some people want a 5-day. So I have options. So I do the 3, the 5, and the 10. And then one thing I really love doing is offering an event special. So if they order, I'm always talking about the challenge packs, the summer slim down, the bundles. If they purchase something that day, they're going to go home with a 3 sample pack to help get them started for free. And so incentivize your people who are interested in ordering, because a lot of times that little incentive will push them over the edge. People love to get stuff for free. And then my last tip was collecting follow-up. So I do very similar to what Christina does. I have a sheet of paper, I collect their information, and then we also do a giveaway. So it helps people to be more comfortable filling out their info. Hey, one person is going to win a 5-serving sample pack. So fill this out, and then we'll put your name in the drawing. And then they have a potential to win something. And then I also have a ton of stuff to follow up with later.
I love it. Let me ask you this. Do you feel like you're having to be a keto expert? Because one of the pushbacks I get is, Nick, I don't know enough about the product. What if they ask me questions? How do you handle that?
So I am very comfortable with saying, that is a really great question. I'm not sure, but I know somebody who knows. And then I'll put them right in a group message at that moment. I'll send them a video, the doctor videos, any of our resources that we have, I will send that as a connection tool as well. But no, you don't have to know anything. You shouldn't have to know everything. And even if you do know all the things, don't make the mistake of spewing out all of the science stuff, because people are never going to see you as being replicatable, and then they're never going to think they can do that. So we want people to see what we're doing and go, oh, I can do that. Like, all she did was put me in a connection with somebody who knows more than she does. I can do that.
That's awesome. Stick to the benefits, not the science. People buy because it has great energy. It gives you focus. It helps you lose body fat. They don't buy because beta hydroxybutyrate is insulin-free energy for your cells and carries 38% more ATP. No one gives a crap. Any tips you have for somebody that's never done one of these and they're kind of on the fence, like, maybe I should do it, maybe I shouldn't?
Do it. Take the leap and do it. I did my first booth. I didn't even talk to anybody about it. The person who enrolled me didn't know I was doing it. I just totally got out of my comfort zone. I had some little cups, and I always do samples. Luckily, I'm at places where I can do tastings, and had some set up, and you just let people taste it, show your excitement. And that's what attracts people, is your excitement and your energy. Have before and betters, and just do it. Like, don't let fear hold you back. Anytime I look at my business and I see that it's slowing down, it's a direct correlation with how often am I getting out in front of people. And so it's really going to help push you forward.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Erica some love. Appreciate you sharing with us, and keep crushing it. Sounds like you're doing awesome with those. All right, we have one more. We have just a couple more minutes, but I wanted you to hear just another perspective of you don't have to go find the exact right place. You just have to get in front of people. So Ashley Riddle, if you want to come off mute real quick, she was messaging me the other day. She's like, oh, I'm at a sip and what did you call it? Sip and, oh wait, I got to click the button. Hang on. Unmute. There we go.
Hello.
There we go. What was your name for it?
A sip and see.
A sip and see. Okay. I don't understand what that means, but it sounds cool.
It means come sip ketones and see what it's all about.
Oh.
I'm from Texas, so we got to name stuff like weird names. We can't call it like a keto life party or a keto tasting. It has to be weird. So sip and see.
I mean, it creates enough curiosity that I'm asking more. So you had said, hey, I'm at a salon doing a sip and see. Tell me what you did. Tell me how it worked. Tell me why. Just fill me in.
Yeah. Okay. So I have several new promoters, and they are hairstylists. So I'm all pumped up about this hairstylist thing, because I just kind of fell into it. And what they have been doing is it's the simplest thing ever. I was looking for my box, but they've been putting the challenge box up on their little counter, like you're sitting there getting your hair done. And then they have the challenge box there. and then a sign that has all the benefits of ketones like stuck on the mirror, which is freaking genius because you guys all get your haircut, right? They're staring at the benefits the whole time, and you always tell your hairstylist like what's going on in your life, what's wrong, like, oh, I'm tired, I can't sleep, like, so then they see that too, and they're like, well, what's that all about? So then we took it a step further and decided the girl that I'm working with, she's in one of those places that they rent out the booths, I'm sure you've seen those before. So we made it a sip and see, and she invited like 50 different hairstylists that all have booths there, put a little invitation under their door that talked about her and her experience with ketones, and said, hey, we're going to do a tasting. I think it was on Thursday we did it from 10 to 3. And we just set up a table. We had the big sign with the benefits. But like you guys said, you don't have to get all crazy like with everything. If you want to add extra stuff, do it. But don't like wait to start. Don't think, oh, I have to have the sign or I've got to have this. You could legitimately like print off the benefits on your printer and stick it in one of those little plastic frames, and just have some shakers out. So it can be as simple or as elaborate as you want. And when people would walk by, something that we would do, because there were also customers coming into that thing. And Thursday is like the busiest day at that salon. So that's why we did it then. But they'd walk by and we would say, hey, do you want a free sample? And they would say, well, what? Free sample of what? And we're like, oh, ketones. Have you ever heard of the keto diet or ketones? And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, well, come over and taste it. It's like we got a wine tasting going on here, girl. Because, I'm from Texas. So they're tasting them. And then while they're tasting them, it gives you time to talk to them about it. Something else I did was we've also been doing farmers markets. And I got like one of these chalkboard signs because all the food vendors were doing this and they would stick it out in front of their booths. So you almost like trip over it, and it totally worked because people are like, oh, free sample. It's like going to Costco. And same thing, like Christina said, you stand out in front of your booth and everybody that walks by, you just say, hey, do you want a free sample? And it gives you a reason to talk to them, The other thing, this I just have to share because it made me laugh. Who owns a Jeep on this Zoom? Type a 1 in the chat. Okay, so we're just going to pretend everybody does. Okay, so I was sitting at my first little farmer's market and it was slow. Okay, and I was scared. It was the first one I did by myself because I've built my business for 6 years on social media. And Nick knows this, like I have trouble talking to people in person. And I was like, I'm just going to do it, and I was standing behind my table, all scared. No one was coming. I hadn't thought of the free sample thing yet, all the things. So what I did is I have been ducking Jeeps. If you have a Jeep, you know what this is all about. So I was like, oh, I've got all these ducks in my Jeep that I put on people's cars with my card. I was like, there's all these freaking moms at this farmer's market with kids. So I'm going to stick these ducks all out on the end of my table. And all these kids are like, so then I'm like, oh, you can have a duck. Yeah, take as many ducks as you want. And then the mom's like, well, what's this all about? And I'm giving their kid free ducks and we're talking. And then they got my info. And like, I've signed up several people. And you can order these from Temu, if you know what that is, or Amazon, even if you don't have a Jeep. But then I took it a step further and I said, they're like, what's this all about? And I said, oh, the whole thing with ducking Jeeps. Well, I earned a Jeep from my company, for sharing ketones. And so this is my mascot. I'm like, yes. Yes, I love when I come up with these things. So I want everyone to do this that has a Jeep. You go get business cards, you keep them in your car, you go duck all your little Jeeps, you put them out at your vendor fairs, you give them to all the children. They love them. It's cheap. It doesn't take anything. The
What's
other thing,
What's on
I'm
the piece of
almost
paper?
done. What?
What's on the piece of paper?
Oh, it's my card. It doesn't say anything about, it says benefits of ketones, ketosis without the keto diet in 59 minutes. Energy,
Okay.
focus, fat loss, muscle recovery, better mood, better sleep, appetite suppression, won't
So-
break a fast.
It's your business card.
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool.
And
I was just
then it
curious.
has my info on there.
I love it.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about, oh yeah, I'm ducking your Jeep, like that little stuff, because that don't make me money. But anyway, the other thing I got was from Melissa Butler. I would love to pretend I came up with this idea, but she is actually like a counselor. So she comes up with all the stuff, you know, in your mind and sales. And so she got this little wheel off of Amazon, and it has like stickers on here, balls, bracelets. She sold like $2,000 in trial packs at a vendor fair. And she got all these little kids with their little moms and stuff to come up because they're like, start the wheel. And so they would fill out this little form like Sarah Ramos put in there, because Melissa's like, sure, you can spin the wheel if you fill out the form. And then she had all these people to talk to about ketones. Last little tip I'm going to share. Nick's like, dude, you're going way over, but I got all excited when Christina was talking. I was like, I got to pull out all my little tools. But don't get all crazy, because what Erica Busby said, don't think you got to do all of this stuff. She's 100% right. I just got bored and wanted to take it to like another level. So I had this cute little book that I got off of Amazon, but it was like $50. And then I ended up giving it to my Sip and See promoter because I was proud of her. So I just went to Walmart the other day, bought a binder and then some sheet protectors. And I printed off I haven't put it together yet, so sorry. But I printed off a whole bunch of before and betters, and then also the benefits of ketones. And then I have like a little price sheet too. So that way, if you were at like a vendor fair, maybe the internet's all messed up or whatever, you have something, or your phone dies, like you have something that you can just be like, here, look, you know, and they flip through all those and they're like, wow. So that's my other little tip. Okay.
I love it.
Yeah. So sorry, I get all excited about these little ideas.
Don't apologize. This is great. I'm getting tons of value from all of you guys. What do you guys think? You guys loving this Zoom, realizing that it's simple, we can all do this? You guys want to do one more? I've got one more person that has another kind of version of what you've been hearing. It's all the same thing. We're putting ourselves in some place where there are people so that we can share with them about ketones instead of waiting for people to come to us. Right? You might have to wait when you get there, but at least it's a high traffic area or some traffic area. So let's see. I see Stacy Tillman. Come off mute real quick. Let me hit the button to request you to come off mute. There you go. Stacy messaged me. It was probably a month or so ago. And she said, hey, I just did a tasting at a community center and I got 6 new customers or something crazy like that. I'm like, well, what the heck? So Stacy, real quick, fill everybody in because they don't know your story. What you did to go start sharing ketones in public, why you made that shift, and maybe what you were doing prior. Like, where was your head at? First off, introduce yourself. Say hey. Tell everybody where you're from. And
hi, I'm Stacy Tillman. I'm from Ascutney, Vermont. I've been sharing and drinking ketones since September of last year. Basically, what I started out doing was what everybody starts out doing the social media aspect of things. And it really wasn't working to benefit me. So I felt like I needed to step out of my comfort zone and move a little bit outward and see where it would get me, because I love talking face to face with people. I feel way more comfortable being in front of somebody than being behind a screen and texting people. It's just not me. So what I did was I had an idea of going to a local community center and just kind of touching base and seeing where they were at, if they had done anything like this before, if I could set up a table and just speak with people as they came in, and they were all for it. Super easy. Met with the coordinator and he was like, yeah, let's do it.
So wait, let me
So
stop you there, because this part is usually what holds people up. So you have a community center in your town, is that accurate? And you walked into it.
Yep.
Right? Who did you talk to and what did you say?
I spoke with just the receptionist at first, and she's like, okay, well, you need to
What
speak
did
to
you say
so
to
and
her?
so.
What was your what was your line? What was your pickup line?
My pickup line is, who do I talk to set up a table to do some tastings on ketones? And she's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll get you in contact with the head director, and you can set up a meeting with him and speak with him.
Perfect. So did you guys catch what she did? All she did was walk in and ask.
Yep.
Like, so usually what we're waiting for is, what's the secret? What's the script? What do I say?
Yeah.
You didn't say anything special. You said, hey, who do I talk to if I want to taste ketones here? And the person that you're talking to is like, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you need to talk to the manager. Okay. So when she said you need to talk to my manager, what did you do next?
So I set up a meeting online. I got his email, and I just basically sent him an email and said who I was. And he's like, sure, come on in. We'll set up a date and we'll sit down and we'll have a meeting and we'll hash this out, figure it out together, basically, because they had never done it before.
And in the email, you just said, hey, I'm Stacy. I'd love to taste ketones in the community center. Is that something we can talk about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then when you met with him, what did you say in person? Is this helpful, guys? Hopefully it's helpful. All right. Because it's helping me, because I don't know what I would say. What did you say to him in person?
Well, I brought my ketone packs with me for one, showed him what I was going to be shaking up, and kind of explained to him, this, what ketones were, and what I knew, just very quick version from the campfire video. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. He goes, I've never done this before. It sounds like a good opportunity. I said, well, I could possibly do some shots of the community center and put it up on my Facebook story and, give you some publicity and draw people in that way. So he was all for that, because it was going to benefit him and it was going to benefit me.
Awesome. So then, so he said yes. How did
Yep.
you pick the day or time? Did you just arbitrarily say, this is when I'm available? Did he tell you when to come?
Yeah, it was just an availability. He's just like, oh, well, I've got this date and this date and this time. He's like, pick a time, we'll meet, yeah. And well, actually, let me go back. I wanted to know when the best time would be for me to be there, when the best flow of traffic was. And he had a better knowledge of that being there. So he said, well, Mondays and Tuesdays are your best bet, 8 to 10, because people are coming and going for classes. So that's the heaviest flow of traffic would be first thing in the morning, 8 to 10. And I said, perfect. I will come in if you're good with it every Monday until you don't want me there anymore. and it's been going great. I mean, I see different people every morning. I actually was there first thing this morning at 7:30 because I had to be there a little bit earlier because my son just started swim lessons this morning, and I had to kind of push it up a little bit. And I saw new people this morning, and I met 3 new people who wanted information. I use those sheets just like the other women were saying earlier, just simple fill out sheets with name and information as far as what's the best contact information. And they're quickly getting in and out of there usually. So they want to know what it is, what I'm doing there, because they haven't seen anybody out front doing anything like that before. So they fill out the information, and I have that on hand to follow up later on.
Perfect. And how do you feel just adding this into your repertoire of building this business has affected your business and your energy?
My energy is through the roof on this one. I am so glad I've done it. If you can step out of your comfort zone and do it, because it definitely increases with the amount of people you're in contact with. And I just feel like it's really boosted my business overall, because like I said, I'm more of a face-to-face person than a texting person, and that's helped me out a lot.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Stacy, for sharing with us, and congratulations.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, guys, first off, thank you to all of the ladies who shared today. Those just a few. I know there's a ton of you on here that are like, oh, I do this, I do this. So kudos to those who are taking action, right? And taking the bull by the horns and just going for it, because that's the name of this business, right? That's the name of the game. So my challenge to everyone on here is, what can you do to move your business forward this summer? And if you're looking at your calendar for the rest of the week for July and for August, can you put a handful of opportunities to get out in public and meet new people? At the end of the day, our job as promoters, what we get paid to do, is not get on trainings, is not train our promoters, is not do like management stuff. It's to introduce ketones to new people on a daily basis, right? Have conversations with new people constantly over and over and over again. And we just have to put ourselves in those situations in order to do that, right? So if you're looking at your calendar and you're like, oh, I don't have any like in-person things coming up for the next 2 months. Well, my action step when you leave this Zoom is find something for yourself to do. Maybe it's a community center like Stacy. Maybe you're going to talk to your hairstylist and see if you can come and set up a sip and see or whatever Ashley called it. Maybe it's a local farmer's market. Maybe it's a vendor event, or finding, go Google it, go on Facebook and type in local events, find something, do something, take the action. And you'll find, just like Stacy has found, that the more action that you take, the more energy that you get. The more of these that you do and the conversations that you have, the more excited, the more vibrant, the more confident you are in the direction that you're going. So thanks so much for being on, everyone. I hope you all have an amazing Monday. The rest of this week, we got a huddle call on Wednesday. We got a guest call Wednesday night. That guest call is on the calendar. It is something that you can count on. We are having it. The details will be either in a chat that you're in or in a post from one of your leaders, probably tomorrow afternoon sometime, but it's never too early to start inviting to it. So appreciate y'all. Have a good day. We'll talk to you soon.